Hey guys, Big Mike, and I want to show you how to create a strategy from scratch. So in this strategy, we're going to make it so the optimizer can optimize the SMA length, the EMA length, and the HMA length. We're also going to define 3 different targets, and each of those can be optimized in ticks. Now the way I use my targets is I make everything other than target 1 cumulative. So let's say that target 1 ends up being 8 ticks. If target 2 is set also to 8 ticks, then it actually is 8 plus 8. Okay? And if target 3 is set to, I don't know, let's say 20 ticks, then it's actually 20 plus 8 plus 8. So what is that? 36. And I do that so that the optimizer kind of approaches it from a more logical manner. So target 3 is always bigger than target 2. Target 2 is always bigger than target 3. Otherwise, it could end up not being that way due to the way the optimizer works. We're also going to optimize the stop size, and we're also going to set a Boolean true false of whether or not to move target 2 to break even after target 1 is hit, and whether or not to move target 3 to break even after target 2 is hit. Now this strategy is just an example. It's going to say that it's profitable, but it won't be if you try to forward trade it. It's not going to work. So don't get your hopes up. Just use it as an example of how to create a strategy. Alright, now I'm using Ninja 7. This is beta 6. And I'm actually running it inside a virtual machine because everything that I do for testing is in a virtual machine. So I'm going to create, like you just saw me do, a new strategy, and then I hit unlock code. And by the way, if I'm going too fast at any point during any of this, then you're going to have to just pause the video. Alright, so the first thing we do is save as, and let's give it a name, My Money Maker. And let's go ahead and change this description because I really hate people that leave it to default. Let's say January 26, 2010. Okay. Then we need to figure out what variables we're going to be optimizing on. So I mentioned SMA, so we need an SMA length, and we'll just make the default 200. And we need an EMA length, and we'll just make that 100. And we need an HMA length, just make that 34. Now these are just default values. Top of my head, the optimizer is going to pick new values. You could always come back here and change the defaults. I also mentioned that we have 3 targets, so let's set target 1 tick size, let's set target 2 tick size, and we'll set target 3 tick size. Now again, these are just defaults to get us going. The optimizer is going to work on these. And remember what I said, cumulative. So 10 plus 12, 24 plus 10 plus 12. Okay, we also need a stop. We'll just do 1 stop. We don't need to have 3 different stops for this example. And then we need our Boolean for whether or not to move the second target to break even after the first target's hit, and whether or not to do the same thing for the third target after the second one is hit. Alright, so now let's just jump down here, set up our properties. We have the SMA length. And we have EMA length. And we have HMA length. Just some examples I just chose at random here. You could do stuff like CCI, you could do stuff like ATR, you could do stuff like pivots, you can do anything. Okay, and then we need to set our target 1 size. and then our target 2 size. I'm just cutting and pasting, by the way. And our target 3 size. And then we're going to set our stop. Okay. And we need to do our booleans. Alright, so break even target 2. There's no math max because there's just a boolean, true false. And then the same thing for target 3. Okay. Now let's go back up here. One thing I always like to do whenever you're setting or creating a strategy with multiple targets is to go ahead and set the entry handling to unique entries. And what that does is normally Ninja defaults to all entries. So if you try to enter 3 different long positions, it'll only do the first one. This way, just go ahead and set it by default to do each uniquely named entry, so you don't have to remember to change it on the strategy menu. Alright, and then I know that we need to do a couple of routines. Let's put all of our stuff to go long in a nice little wrapper. Okay, and I always like to set my stop loss first. So for target 1, we'll call it. And I always set based on price, not based on ticks. This is learn from experience to get around a whole bunch of different Ninja bugs and issues that can arise. So my stop is going to be whatever my entry price was. I'm going to assume it was the close of the bar minus whatever the optimizer came up with for the stop, and then we'll multiply that times the tick size. Do the same thing for target 2 and 3. They're all going to be the same stop. Now let's do the profit targets. For target 1, again, always based it on price instead of ticks. And we're going to do whatever the close of the bar was, which is where we got long, because we're going to be using market orders. We'll do the target 1 times the tick size. And then for target 2, now remember what I said before, we're going to use cumulative. So target 1 plus target 2 times tick size. And then for target 3, it's target 1 plus target 2 plus target 3 times tick size. Now let's go ahead and enter the positions. Going to be market orders for each of these, just for the sake of simplicity. If you try to do limit orders, just do keep in mind there's a whole other set of issues that can arise with limit orders in NinjaTrader with regards to back testing. Now I always like to do my stop and my target before the actual command enter the position, and that's just so that I have confidence that it happens as quickly as possible. These are actually OCO orders, and Ninja can place them the second that the long position is created. Probably makes no difference, it's just a force of habit. So now I cut and pasted everything down here for they go short, and we just gotta make a few changes here. Some logic changes for the shorts, since we're using some different math. Change the command to go short. You can do this a bunch of different ways. You could condense all this down into less code, more efficient, more advanced code, but I'm just trying to keep it simple here for this example. Okay, then I also know that I need a manage orders routine. And I'm just making up these names. I mean, you could call this, I'm hungry, so you could call this French fries. It doesn't matter. So manage orders. I know I need this because of our option to move the stop on target 2 and target 3 to break even if the optimizer tells us that that's what we should do. So first thing, let's do the long. So if the position is long, and let's see, well, we need to check our Boolean, which is breakeven 2, that's true or false. So if that's true, and the high of the current bar is higher than, let's see, we'll just use position, average price, that's our entry price, and then target 1 times tick size. So what this basically is saying is, if this right here is true, which the optimizer will turn it true and false, and the high of the current bar, because the optimizer for back testing only uses calculate bar close true. Okay, it doesn't calculate intra bar. And for this example, I'm not going to try to do it intra bar. So if the high of the bar that we just closed and just finished, let's call it a 5-minute bar. So if the high of that 5-minute bar ended up being higher than our entry price plus our target, like say 12 ticks or whatever it is, then we can assume that target 1 got filled. Now, you know, there's a lot of other ways to do this. You could use some I order routines and a lot of advanced things you can do. Again, I'm just trying to keep it simple. So please don't tell me how to do stuff, because I know how to do stuff. I'm just trying to keep it simple. Alright, so if that happens, then we need to set the stop loss on target 2 to the average price. You could also do like plus a tick or whatever you want there. And then let's do the same thing for contract 3, target 3. And remember, we're cumulative, so we need to say target 1 plus target 2 times tick size. And then that's for number 3. And then we can do the same thing here for shorts. So we're going to cut and paste that. Change a few logic things to make it make sense for a short. Do that. We're going to go minus. Okay. Minus. Alright. So now we have code that will check if we're long, and if this is true, it'll do this. If this is true, it'll do this, and so forth. So that's going to let us optimize and let the optimizer choose whether or not we should move our stop to break even. Now again, you could do some really advanced stuff with that, but this will get you going. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and set up our data series. This is the easiest way to do it. So for the SMA, let's just call it SMAV for value. And we're going to use our custom SMA length. That's the period, you know, 34, 55, 100, whatever the optimizer chooses for the SMA length. Same thing for the EMA length. And, oops, same thing for the HMA length. So now we've got those three. The next order of business on the on-bar update routine is to go ahead and manage the orders for open positions. Then before we go any further, we're going to want to make sure, oops, that we're not already in a position. So if we are already in a position, we're going to stop right here. If we're flat, then we're going to keep going. And now we're going to check to see if we should get into a new position. So if the SMA is rising, and the EMA is rising, and the HMA is rising, let's go long. Otherwise, if the SMA is falling, and the EMA is falling, and the HMA is falling, let's go short. Okay, so again, just reviewing this part. On-bar update is called at the close of every single bar. In this case, calculate bar close true. So that means that at the close of a 5-minute bar, or whatever time frame, it's going to run this code. This is going to manage any open orders. This checks to see that we're flat before we enter a new position. And then this is just some very, very simple logic for this example. If the SMA is going higher, the EMA is higher, and the HMA is higher, we'll go long. Otherwise, if they're all dropping, we'll go short. Okay. And now we're going to press F5 to compile. Let's see if I made any mistakes. It's taken forever. I don't know. Every now and then it does that with Ninja. Okay. No errors, no mistakes. So now let's open up the strategy analyzer. Okay. And we'll just choose the ES. Go ahead and open up the output window first. Let's move that over here. Alright, let's choose ES. It's already got it selected there. And let's just say that we're going to optimize EMA anywhere from 8 to 200. We're going to go in 4-step increments, so 8, 12, 16, 20. Same thing for the HMA, same thing for the SMA. Let's try a stop anywhere from 8 to 24 in 4-step increments. And the same thing for the targets. Now remember, this means target 1 can be 8 to 24 ticks, and target 2 will add another 8 to 24 ticks, and target 3 will add another 8 to 24 ticks on top of this. Let's start with a 5-minute data series. Let's go ahead and go back a few months. This is about 3 months or so, almost 4 months of data. And we're going to use my custom optimization, which looks at a whole bunch of stuff that I've learned over the years. So it's too much to go into, but suffice it to say that optimizing just on net profit is not a good idea. And then I'm going to use the genetic optimizer from Parrish because it's much better than the genetic optimizer built into Ninja 7. And of course, if you're using Ninja 6, then you really need it because there's not a genetic one built in at all. Now let's just make this quick. So let's only do 10 generations. And let's go. Okay. I'm turning this on so that the pH genetic optimizer can try both true and false for these two booleans. You could also optimize based on enumerators. So if you get some more advanced code, it's very helpful for that. Alright, let's go back here just a little bit. Running optimizer. I'm going to give it just a second here to spit out a new generation, which it'll do in just a minute. I just realized my machine is slow because it's running a full system backup right now. In the background, I've got a Cronus, which is what I use to run backups, and it's making an image of my system and backing it up to a local USB drive. So that's why things are kind of slow. So normally this is considerably faster. If I can just get it to print one generation, then I'll pause and let it keep going from there. Alright, so there's the 1 of 10 generations, and normally, for a nice fast system, this whole process for 10 generations can take as little as, say, a minute and a half or 2 minutes. But I'm going to pause this video since my system's now running much slower, and I'll come back once it's done. Alright, it's almost done. So my backup finished, so now everything's much faster. So again, I just want to reiterate, it's a simple strategy, and it should be enough to get you going, but that you should not try to copy it, because even though it says it's profitable, I assure you it's not. And that's a whole other video to go into details about how you can, better learn to optimize and what you optimize on. So we came back here with the highest score it got was $97.65 on my custom type. That doesn't mean anything to you. Made $22,000. So let's scroll up here. Since September 1st to today, it took 732 trades, about 70% profitable, $22,000. So there you go. There's an example of creating a strategy from scratch. Thanks guys, and I'll talk to you soon.